What up? Tyler here with TarverAcademy.com, and I'm going to hit you with some info on measures of central tendency. Okay, so measures of central tendency are things that, in simplest terms, round us out to about the middle, or the average, or I say average, that's a bad term, but it's a good term. You'll see why. But it gives us something, gives us almost like a snapshot of the group as a whole. Does that make sense? Okay, well, let's look at it. The three main ones that we want to talk about, you've heard of mean, median, and mode. All right, I'm going to kind of give you the brief synopsis of what they are. Mean is when you add all your numbers and then you divide by the number of numbers. Okay? This is also called the average. Yeah, you guessed it right. Average. So whenever you add up, like if you're, the most common one that you'll use in education is like, I want to find my grade for this class. Okay, if they do just like raw points, no. Let's say you want to find your grade for a class and you have the 9 weeks, then you would just like add up your first 2 of your first 9 weeks, 2 of your second 9 weeks, and then your semester test is usually 20%, so you add up one time, add them all up, divide by 5, you got your grade. Okay? Average is mean. It can be used for a lot of stuff. Median, that's the middle. So if I could sum that up, I would say that's the average. I'd say that's the middle. That's if you take like all your numbers, line them up in a row, and you pick out the middle one. You put them in order, pick out the middle number. Say you have an even number, you've got like 10 numbers. Well, then you take the 2 numbers and you find the middle number between them. Okay, you average those together. And then mode, that's the most often. Wish I could have gotten that in one word, it would have been sweet. That's whatever occurs most often. So if you got like a set of numbers, it's whatever you see the most of. Like if you got like a chunk, like it's 772, 75, 43. There are like 3 sevens in there. So your mode would be 7 because you see the most of. So those are your measures of central tendency. Congratulations, you just learned something. What up, guys? Okay, I want to teach you what a mean is. And you're not thinking like, oh, that's mean. Be quiet. Okay, mean, that's your average. Okay, that's the one word summarization of what a mean is. You want to find what the average is. So it's like the exact middle of all your numbers combined. All right, and the way to find that is you add up the numbers, divide that by the number of numbers. That sounds confusing, but it's not. So say you got 5 tests. First test you make a 78, then you make an 86, you make a 71, a 93, and then like a 98. And you want to know what your average is for the class. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So I would divide it by the number of numbers, which is 5. So I'd add all those up, which I don't have my calculator. Pause. Talk to your class. Look at your neighbor that's most attractive and be like, hey, you're looking good today. Just look at him and go, you're looking good today. All right, so I'm going to add them up. 78 plus 86 plus 71 plus 93 plus 98, 426. Still dividing it by the number I had. It divided by 5. My average is 85.2. Boom! That's a mean, ladies and gentlemen. You're like, ooh, you gonna mess up? I didn't mess up. I didn't mess up. What up? Tyler here. I'm gonna hit you with what is a median. You hear this and you're like, oh, in a road. That's in a road. That's like the middle of the road. The median's in the middle of the road. Like when you're driving, the median's is the middle line in the road. That's exactly what a median is in math. It's the middle number. So median is middle. So let's say you've got 12, 14, 16, 8, and 3. Those are my 5 numbers. First thing you do to find the median, put them in order. So I'll go with my lowest number, 3. Then I go to my next lowest number, 8. Then I go to my next lowest number, 12. Next lowest number, 14. Next lowest is the last one, 16. Now, I need to find the middle number. There are 5 numbers. So I'm going to start on the outside. So start on the outside. It's 1, 2, and 12 is my median. You're like, that's easy. Yeah, it is easy. You just got to put them in order. I just gave you the easiest way to put them in order. Okay, let's say we get a little crazy. Let's say we've got 5, 6, 8, 9, and 2, and 4. See what I did there? You're going to find out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Put them in order. Lowest number, 2. Next lowest number, 4. Next lowest number, 5. Next is 6. Next is 8. And last is 9. I'm going to work my way back. Mark these 2 out. It's best you have 2 markers. You can be like click, click, click. I'm going to go outside numbers. Next ones. And then, oh, there's 2 middle numbers. What do I do? Find the average of those 2. What's the exact center of 6 and 5? 5.5. That's your median. Median, road, middle number. Remember it. Never forget. Never forget. What up? Tyler here, Tarver Academy. Here we go. Mode. When we're talking about the mode of a bunch of numbers, that is the most. It's what happens the most in a set of numbers. So say you got 2, 7, 4, 5, 2, 7, 2, and 4. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to find out which ones we have the most of. All right, let's start with our 2s. 1, 2, 3. So out of 2s, we've got 3 of them. All right? Mark them out. Now let's do our 7s. I just like to go in order. 7, 7. So we've only got 2 of them. So out of the 7s, we've got 2. And then we do our 4s, which is next. There's 1, 2 of them. So 4s, there's 2. And then there's only 1 5. So which one occurs the most? This one's 3 times, twice, and once. So 2 is our mode. You're thinking, Tyler, Mr. Tarver, whatever you want to call me. I don't care how formal you are. It's the internet. It's easy. I'd be like, yeah. Pretty easy. That's what learning's all about. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Tyler here with TarverAcademy.com, and I want to talk to you about the range. No, not home on the range. And you're thinking, with that accent, you got to be talking about that, but I'm not. I'm talking about range in math. Range of something is how far it is from one to the other. If you're talking about the range, like, oh, look, Steph Curry, he got such range. That means he goes a long distance from the basket when he gets buckets, okay? That's your range, all right? He's got quite a bit more range than Shaquille O'Neal, who I think made 1 3-pointer in 19 years of basketball. Range, boys and girls. So let's talk about the range in a set of data. So we've got 2, 8, 16, 3, 5, 1, 12, and negative. Let's do 2. Okay. All right, when you want the range of a set of data, it's pretty easy. You find the lowest, you find the highest, and then you find out how far it is from one to the other. That's the range. You want to go from one spot to the other. All right? Let's find the lowest. Let's go over 12. Anything lower than 12? 2 is. Anything lower than 2? No. Yes? No. So 1 is our lowest. And now let's find our highest. 12. Anything bigger than 12? No. Yes. Anything bigger than 16? No. So 16. So I want to find the range from 16 to 1. Now there's a couple ways to do this. Here's the scope of it. You can subtract them. And you're thinking, well, which one do I put first? It doesn't matter. And I'll show you why. So lowest first, we do 1 minus 16 equals negative 15. And then you can switch them. Say, okay, 16 minus 1 is 15. Well, which one is it, Tyler? Is the range negative 15 or 15? Well, you can't have a negative range because you can't have a negative distance. You can't say to your friends like, oh, let's go to the movies. Oh, how far is it? It's negative 40 miles. You can't. If you go 40 miles that way, it's still 40 miles. If you go 40 miles the opposite direction, it's still going 40 miles. A distance cannot have negative. Therefore, you would just know, oh, I don't have a negative, so it's 15. So your range will always be a positive number because you just can't have a negative range. And that's a fact, Jack. What up? Tyler here, TarverAcademy.com, and I want to show you what a stem and leaf plot is. A stem and leaf plot, in my opinion, I don't like them, but I'm going to teach them to you anyways because I like you and I want you to learn math. So essentially what that is, think of like think of a tree. You've got, or like a stick that falls off a tree. You've got your stem, and each stem has like a bunch of little leaves on it. So like your stem is your main core, and then the leaves are like the end. It's like the last little bit. So what a stem and leaf plot is, you take a line, and then you take your last number, and you put it off to the right, and then you always stack it behind whatever the other two numbers are. So let's say you've got 81, 71, 72, 90, and then 75. Okay? What I want to do is essentially I'm splitting it right back behind the last number. Okay? So on the right side, that's going to go on the right side of my line. And over here, I'm essentially summarizing what they are. So I'm going to start with the lowest number, which is 7. And so I'm going to put a 7 here. Now I want to attach every number over here that's attached to that 7. So right here we got 7, 1. And I'm going to do them in order. So next would be 7, 2. Last one is 7, 5. Okay, so I've got my 7s X'd out. Next we'll start with 8. That's the next one down. So 8. And it's only got a 1. And there's no more. Next is 9. And it's got a 0. You just made a stem and leaf plot. Again, why? I'm sure there's a reason, but it's math, and I don't know the reason on this one. I don't ever use them. I teach it, and then I proceed not to use them because you just don't see them that much. You want to do an example problem? I feel like that was really easy. So let's do an example problem. Let's say we've got. Okay, this will be good. I've got 18.6, 18.4, 17.3, 16.1, 17.9, and 18.2. Okay? Again, I take that last bit, and that's where I cut it. Man, you got to cut it! Whatever. Okay, so I'm going to take my lowest number here on the left, which is 16. I'm going to put it up here. The right side of a stem and leaf plot is just the last digit, okay? So we've got 1. Are there any other 16s? No. Next lowest number is 17. I'll put 17 there. I've got a 3 and a 9. 3 is lower, so I'll start with it, and then 9. Mark those out. Last step's 18. Got 1, 2, 3 of those. The lowest is 2, so 18 and 2. Next is 4. And the last is 6. That's a stem and leaf plot. Pretty basic stem and leaf plot. Mainly just because I don't like to talk about them. Okay? It's like an ex-girlfriend. You just don't want to talk about it. It's like, it's in the past, man. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh, hey, it's me, Michael Jordan, Shoemaker. I want you to know that if you don't click that little circle there to subscribe, then you won't ever find your true love. That's a fact. It's like an email chain letter. If you're not 45 years old, you will not get that joke. Not important. But click that. Anyways, I'll wait.